want to sit on the edge?
No. I'll sit right here.
Oh, you feel protected.
Yeah.
I'll sit right here. I'm fine right here.
This is protected.
You're on. Okay. Start all over from the beginning. The dream catchers were made specifically for babies. And when the babies were in the cradle board on their mother's backs, and they had to be small to hang from the guard on the cradle board. And the reason for, or the thinking, the idea was to have the child look at the past as mother was carrying the baby on her back on the cradle board, so baby would know its past. And so as the child got older, the child would begin to walk and face the future as the child started to walk, so it didn't have to be carried by mom. But in order to know who you are, you also have to know your past, not just your own, but the rest of the world that's around you. So mothers were the carriers of these babies. But the dream catchers were made, and they were very little. They were only about 7 centimeters in diameter. And they were made with willow, which is a water plant, and sinew, which is animal. So it was plant, water, and animal, and you. So there was the four aspects of nature that were included in the dream catcher. And there was nothing fancy about them. They were just made plain with a willow hoop and the animal sinew. Nothing attached to it. It was plain, and it was hanged in the middle of the guard on the cradle board. And it was, in those days, and babies nowadays, they call them mobiles. So this was a baby's mobile in traditional times. So the weaving on the dream catcher, like I'm doing here, was like a spider's web, or representing a spider's web, and they had would be to catch. Spider's intent was to catch its food, but on this instance it was meant to catch the bad dreams as baby was sleeping. And the bad dreams would get caught in the webbing, and in the morning when mom and dad woke up, they would put baby close to the entrance of the lodge, open the lodge, and on a sunny day the sun would shine in, and at night when baby was sleeping, the dream catcher was directly above the baby's head, because lying like this, and there was moisture, humidity in the baby's breath, and the dewdrops would form on the webbing, and the baby's dreams, the bad dreams, of course they weren't true, so they would get caught in the webbing. And by morning, they were absorbed by the dewdrops on the webbing from the baby's breath, from the dewdrops from the baby's breath. And when they face the child to the sun in the morning to the east, the sun would evaporate the dewdrops, which were the bad dreams that were absorbed in the water, in the dew, in the webbing. And so, as I'm finishing this, now I have to ensure that there is a hole in the middle of the webbing where the good dreams would go through. Because only the good dreams that are straight and true would go through the middle. Not like the bad dreams, which were all over the place and they would get caught in the webbing. And so the good dreams had gone through and the bad dreams would get caught in the webbing. And of course, as the sun dried the webbing and evaporated the dewdrops, the bad dreams were taken away. So, as I'm finishing this, I'll make sure that there's a... And now, like, for me, when we made these, we made many hundreds of these dream catchers over the years for different people and different organizations. And we started using 4 colors: red, white, yellow, and black. And those 4 colors represent all 4 people of the world. And in the tradition that I was raised in, those 4 colors represent the 4 directions. The east with the yellow, the south white, the west red, and the north white. When I asked my elder, why those directions were there, because I'd seen other directions where black and white were next to each other. He said to me, those 4 colors are in those directions because that's where those people came from. And in the prophecy of our people, there were 4 people. We were on the west side, which is the red. The white people were in the north, which is where they came from. The yellow people were from the east, which is where they came from. And the black people from the south, which is where they came from. So that's the teaching that I was given. There's other teachings. There's no one right way of doing things. There's other teachings out there, and they're all equally important. There isn't only one true way. There are many true ways that people believe depending on their environment. The environment dictates who you are as a person, who you are as a people. Environment dictates your spirituality. Environment dictates your traditions, your culture, and your language. There are words in other languages in the world that mean things that are specific to that environment. For example, the Inuit have so many words, over 20 words for snow, but that was to indicate their environment, which was mostly snow. And even in our own tradition, an Ojibwe tradition, there are words that we use in our language that do not exist in English or other languages, only because our environment dictated those words to be used. So there is no one right way to honor and show respect and reverence to the Creator, because we as human beings are all of the same family. And as you see, I'm finishing the center part, which is round and connects with all parts of the webbing.